The voice was calm and determined, but carried a great amount of pride. Mark looked up and saw a person standing on the roof of the house. That person was bald and wore a red robe. Under the moonlight, he was glowing with a golden light. He was holding a staff in one hand. He placed his other hand in front of his face and said, "Peace and light." A monk? Mark furrowed his brows. He hadn't expected to see a monk here. However, he had heard from Marcy that the Lamb family had a trump card who was a top expert in the world. But as for what kind of expert that was the Lamb's big secret. Roger should know that the arrival of Mark was the time for him to reveal the trump card. Because they had offended Mark, it also meant that the death of the Lamb family had arrived. It seemed like this monk was the Lamb family's final trump card. At first glance, this monk had an imposing demeanor. Under the moonlight, he looked like an eminent monk. The robe he was wearing gave off a vague feeling of holiness. However, it was hard to conceal the violent aura that was also emitting from this monk's body, and the trace of evil energy mixed with it. Mark looked at this monk standing on the roof and pretending to be cool, and shouted at him, "You were the trump card of the Lamb family, right? Come down if you dare. What are you pretending to be?" "Peace and light," the monk said once more. After that, he jumped down from the roof and landed in front of Mark. Mark discovered that the evil aura on the monk's body had become even stronger. A monk should see mercy as his duty and work to protect all life. Mark had never thought that a monk would have such a strong evil aura. It was clear that this monk had evil intentions, and was definitely not a kind person. Upon closer inspection of the monk's face, Mark felt that it was somewhat familiar. He remembered that when he was dealing with the matter of the transparent coffin in Dragon Bay, Mayor Lewis had asked an eminent monk called Master Caleb to help. And this monk in front of him looked somewhat similar to that Master Caleb. So Mark asked, "Do you know Master Caleb?" The monk put his palms together with one hand and replied, "Master Caleb is my older brother. We are both eminent monks of the Forever Life Church." Mark stared at the monk and sneered. "So you and Master Caleb are both from the Forever Life Church, yet you are far inferior to him. His body was brimming with an aura of justice and benevolence, but you are emitting a dense energy of violence and evil. From this, it can be seen that one of you is righteous and the other evil, good and bad, am I right?" If this monk in front of Mark was a good man, he wouldn't be working for the Lamb family. However, this monk was infuriated by Mark's words. "A puny cultivator like you dares to speak so arrogantly to me? I'm not someone like you who can talk nonsense. You have intruded on the Lamb family and killed their guards. I won't let you live anymore." Mark wanted to laugh after hearing that. "Fool, you said I'm a lowly person? I don't think you are a good person. A truly eminent monk wouldn't become a lackey of the Lamb family. Although this is the first time I have met you, I can still see the thick evil energy on your body. I know that you have killed a lot of people for the Lamb family. What a filthy crime. Today, I'll sweep the floor for the Forever Life Church. Take out the garbage like you." When Mark said this, the monk's face turned livid with anger. He fiercely slammed the staff in his hand onto the ground and roared at Mark, "Kid, prepare to die." After that, the monk waved the staff and lunged at Mark. Mark calmly accepted the challenge. This monk did have some ability. The two of them fought for more than 10 rounds, but there was still no winner. Mark didn't want to continue fighting because he was worried about Marcy and Red's safety. So he suddenly raised his hand and called up the triple flame fire controlling technique in his body. A golden fireball in his palm shot toward the monk. The monk's expression changed drastically. He shouted, "The fire controlling technique of the Profound Group? Kid, are you really from the Profound Group?" "What does it have to do with you whether I'm a member of the Profound Group or not?" Mark shouted back. "Tyrant, you're going to die today. Hand over your life." Fireballs kept shooting out from Mark's palm. The monk dodged left and right, and he seemed to be in a flurry. A moment later, a fireball hit the staff in his hand. The staff was sent flying. The monk's expression changed even more. "The Profound Group was destroyed a long time ago. I didn't think anyone survived." After saying that, the expression on the monk's face turned ferocious. "Evil creature of the Profound Group, you don't deserve to live in this world. Today, this eminent monk will do a favor for this world and get rid of you, Scourge." Mark cursed loudly. "You are the evil one. Die!" The two of them once again engaged in a fierce battle. A moment later, the monk suddenly unleashed a palm strike. This palm strike was extremely powerful. Most claimed that there was absolutely no chance of survival if such a strike hit its target. Although Mark didn't know that this was the Great Strength Vajra Palm, or even what that was, he didn't dare to underestimate the monk when he saw him approaching with a menacing aura. Mark suddenly shot out a punch with the Fire Thunder Palm. With a bang, the monk's palm and Mark's palm collided. Both of their expressions turned solemn. After a short moment, a pained expression appeared on the monk's face. Then a mouthful of blood spurted from his mouth. Mark's Fire Thunder Palm overcame the monk's Great Strength Vajra Palm, and the energy penetrated the monk's palm and arm, and then his entire body. A scorching force almost knocked the monk down. After coughing out a mouthful of blood, he took a few steps back, and his energy instantly fell apart. "Fire Thunder Palm. It's a Fire Thunder Palm that only disciples of the Profound Group can use. This force is so powerful, and only the old leader of the Profound Group, Spectrum, can unleash such a powerful force. Kid, what is your relationship with Spectrum?" the monk asked. Mark slowly retracted his palm and looked at the monk with disdain. Then he said, "So many of you are interested in my master. All right, since you want to know, I might as well tell you. Spectrum is my master, and I am not the fish that slipped through the net. I am a new disciple that my master recently accepted." The monk was shocked. "You are not the fish that slipped through the net of the Profound Group? You are a new disciple that Spectrum just accepted? So Spectrum is not dead after all. He just hid so well that we couldn't find him. We didn't expect that he would take on another disciple." "Well, he did. And do you know why my master took me as a disciple? It was so I could deal with you bunch of scoundrels. Back then, someone annihilated the Profound Group and killed the disciples. Now you still want to find my master, and you want to kill him as well. It's a pity that all of you are unworthy. You will never find Spectrum," Mark said, "and you will never have a chance to try again, because all of you must die." Mark suddenly raised his right hand, and a stone appeared between his index and middle fingers. He flicked it, and the stone flew toward the monk. Although the monk was seriously injured, he was not incapacitated. He tilted his head to the side and dodged the stone. Then he quickly rolled over. He picked up his strength and threw it at Mark with all his strength. Mark did not dodge. When the staff was about to hit him, he suddenly lifted his leg and kicked the staff hard. It changed direction and flew back toward the monk. The monk's expression changed drastically because he had used all his strength to throw the staff away. Now the staff was on its way back, but he didn't have the strength left to dodge it. Crack! A crisp sound was heard, and a splash of blood appeared as the staff connected with the middle of the monk's neck, cutting off his head. With a double thud, the monk's head and body landed on the ground in two pieces. The body was limp and defeated. The eyes on the head were wide open, as if the monk had died with everlasting regret. Looking at the fallen head, Mark walked over to it with an expressionless face. He tore off a large piece of fabric from the monk's robe and wrapped the head up. Then he tucked the head under his arm and entered the mansion. At this moment, in a secret chamber in the mansion, Red was sitting on a chair, covered in blood. His face was pale, and he was severely injured. He was on the verge of dying. In front of him, Roger had his hands behind his back. He leisurely walked around and finally stopped in front of the old man. He said, "Red, how does it feel to watch your family members die one by one in front of you? To watch your green family destroyed? It's not a good feeling, is it?" Red took a deep breath and slowly raised his head to look at Roger.
"Roger, I can't believe you are so vicious. I saved your life back then. But you really don't care about my feelings at all. You actually want to annihilate the entire Green family. You are a despicable person who returns kindness with ingratitude. I guess it's my fault for being blind back then."
"Saved my life." Roger suddenly raised his head and laughed. "Well said. Saved my life." Roger's face suddenly turned ferocious. "Everyone thinks that I should be grateful to you for saving my life, and even repay you with mine. But do you know what saving my life means to me? My dignity has been completely trampled on. From the moment you saved me, I have been a dog of your Green family. Everyone is laughing at me because of it." Roger shook his head. "I don't care much about the thoughts and opinions of outsiders, but even the members of your family treat me like a dog. Your eldest son, Paul, looks down on me and always keeps his guard up against me. He even said in front of you that I'm ambitious and that he wants you to kick me out of the Green family." Roger curled his lip. "As for your second son, Bob, he is even more detestable. He keeps ridiculing me. He has done so in front of outsiders. He said that I am a dog raised by the Green family, and that I need you to survive. There was even one time when Bob couldn't pay a gambling debt. He told his buddies that he didn't have any money, but he did have a dog that was willing to work for the Green family. So if Bob lost, they could beat me up instead of him. So they did. They kicked me to the ground and stepped hard on my face. They even whipped me and made me lick their shoes." After saying that, Roger clenched his fists tightly. His face was filled with resentment. "Red, I know that you were kind to me back then, but I am not grateful to you. I would rather die than live without dignity every day." Red was speechless. He knew that his second son, Bob, had a bad attitude toward Roger, but he never thought that Bob would treat Roger like a dog and torture him behind his back. Red finally understood that the resentment in Roger's heart over the past few years was very deep, and coupled with his great ambition, it had finally led to such a situation. Red shook his head and sighed.
"I didn't expect any of this. In order to keep you safe, I kept you by my side as a bodyguard. I never thought that it would lead to such a situation. I've done something bad out of the best intentions. In the end, you didn't give me your gratitude. You just resent me."
Roger coldly snorted and said, When they recklessly trampled on my dignity, I swore one day I would regain the dignity I lost because of the high and mighty Green family. I decided that one day I would trample the entire Green family under my feet and let you taste the feeling of being trampled on. Red said,
Roger, even if you hate me and Bob, this has nothing to do with the rest of the Green family. Why are you being so ruthless? Why did you kill everyone? What's the point?
Red's heart felt like it was being stabbed by a knife when he thought of his relatives who had come to visit him, but were now all dead. In the end, he was the one who had implicated them.
Roger, you should never have done that to them. They were innocent.
Roger raised a brow. Innocent? No one in this world is innocent. Just like you, Red. You saved me and took me in with good intentions. But your son trampled on me recklessly. Don't you have any responsibility in that? Can you say that you are completely innocent? It's too late to say anything now, tonight, Roger continued. The Green family is finished. Of course, you still have a son overseas, and your grandson, but so what? Don't count on them. If they are smart, they will hide overseas forever, or else.
Don't tell me you won't even let them go. Roger, are you really going to eradicate the roots of the Green family?
Red asked. Roger said, For your sake, if they don't come back, I won't touch them. But if they don't recognize my power and oppose me, don't blame me for being ruthless. By the way, there's also your youngest son, Bob. You might not know this, but Bob has already sided with us. A grin spread over Roger's face. Why do you think your relatives visited you tonight? This was all planned by your good son, Bob. He deliberately chose today. Then he called your relatives and asked them to come and visit you. After that, our guards killed all of your relatives.
Bob? No, it's impossible.
An expression of disbelief appeared on the old man's face. Your Green family is the biggest family in California, and your mansion was well defended. But why were you caught off guard by us? I only sent a few men, and they easily broke through your defenses. Do you know why? It's because your son, Bob, was waiting for us inside. He had already arranged everything for us. That's why we were so successful. By the way, old man, you fell into a coma 3 years ago. This was also the work of your son. Red's face contorted.
No, it's impossible.
Seeing the old man's pained expression, Roger was very pleased with himself. Bob used to treat me like a dog and humiliate me without mercy. But now I, Roger, have the Monroe family backing me, and the Lamb family has become the second largest family in California. For a long time, I've had the power to destroy your Green family at any time. Bob recognized that and started to curry favor with me. He even took the initiative to seek refuge with me. Although I can't stand his despicable behavior, there is a saying that goes, a wise man knows when to submit to circumstance. Your son is wiser than you in this aspect. Red couldn't believe that his youngest son, Bob, would do so many unacceptable things behind his back. No wonder the men in black sent by the Lamb family got into the mansion so easily tonight. It turned out that Red's son, Bob, was the spy. Moreover, it was Bob who caused him to fall into a coma 3 years ago. Bob was Red's most beloved son, and Red never expected a child of his would do such a thing. In reality, it wasn't Roger Lamb who had destroyed the Green family, but Red's own son. When he thought of this, the old man felt bile surge up in his throat. Red was furious and betrayed. The cruelest blow didn't come from the enemy's attack, but from the person closest to him. Roger was very pleased to see the old man in such a state. "How are you doing, Red? You have a great reputation, but you raised a traitor for a son. Did you not think of this? This is a failure of you as a father. Your failure has led to the destruction of the entire Green family." After a pause, Roger continued. "Your son is smart, but not smart enough. Or perhaps too smart for his own good. Do you get what I'm saying? He's been extremely useful to me, but I can't risk him getting thoughts above his station." Upon hearing this, the old man's expression changed drastically.
"You won't even let Bob go, right?"
Red asked. Roger chuckled. "I just said Bob is too smart and not smart enough. I promised him that as long as he helped me destroy the Green family, I would give him everything he wants. It's a pity that I won't keep my promise, because I will never forget what Bob did to me, how he treated me in front of so many people. So now I have achieved my goal and he is useless to me. After dealing with you, old man, I will deal with your good son, who is a traitor. But old man, don't worry. For your sake, I won't let him suffer too much." The old man gritted his teeth. This was a conspiracy, a great conspiracy. Unfortunately, his son, Bob, had fallen into this conspiracy. It was really stupid. Red closed his eyes as if he was resigned to his fate. A moment later, he slowly opened them and asked,
"Will you let my granddaughter go?"
Roger was surprised. "Your granddaughter? You mean Marcy? What? Old man, are you begging me?"
"Yes, I'm begging you."
After saying this, Red felt extremely humiliated, but he had no choice. He had to use his last bit of strength to try and save his granddaughter's life. "All right, old man. You saved me back then, so I owe you my life. Today, I'll pay you back with a life," Roger said. Hearing this, the old man was surprised.
"So you agree?"
Roger nodded. "I can give you your granddaughter's life, but you know that my son has taken a liking to her. So long as she obediently becomes my son's woman, I don't think I will harm her. But I'm afraid that if she doesn't know what's good for her and insists on resisting, I may have to break that promise. But it won't be my fault." The trace of hope that the old man had felt surge up was shattered once again, because he knew his granddaughter's personality. Marcy would rather die than submit to Roger's son, Liam. It was over. It seemed like the Green family was really finished. Red closed his eyes.
"Kill me."
"What's this? Is the powerful Red Green accepting his fate at my hands? So be it. Your Green family is doomed to be destroyed, and you are doomed to die. Do you have any last words or wishes? For the sake of our past relationship, I will listen." The old man kept his eyes closed and did not speak. The smile on Roger's face gradually disappeared. "Since that's the case, I can only put you out of your misery." Roger drew a short knife out of his sleeve. This knife was incredibly sharp. He held it in his hand and raised it to attack the old man. However, right then, there was a loud bang as the door of the secret chamber flew open. A person appeared at the door of the secret chamber. It was a young man in his 20s. His body was not very big, but he gave off a stern aura. He was holding a cloth bag in one hand. Blood was seeping out of the bag. Who is it? Roger turned around when he heard the noise. Then he saw the face that he feared. Mark Johnson. The guard in black next to Roger was surprised for a second. Then he reacted and quickly dropped into a fighting stance in front of Roger. Red opened his eyes when he heard the noise. When he saw Mark, hope suddenly in his heart. It was the hope of life, the hope of revenge.
Mr. Johnson, Mark,
the old man shouted in a trembling voice. Mark looked at the old man and said, Red, it seems that I'm a bit late. Are you all right? The old man said weakly,
No issues, no issues. My old bones will not die so easily. I knew you would come.
The old man's voice was trembling because he knew in his heart that as long as Mark came, the Green family would be saved. Mark turned his eyes to Roger. What a big shot. Just now you said that you wanted to send Red to meet his maker, Mark said. His tone was relaxed. There was no anger or any other trace of emotion. Roger's heart had already lifted because he had expected that this Johnson brat would appear once he attacked the Green family. When he thought about this Johnson kid being a disciple of the Profound Group, his heart trembled inexplicably, because the Profound Group was extremely terrifying back then. But he immediately thought of the fact that he had invited Master William, the trump card of the Lamb family, to come and deal with Johnson. Master William was an eminent monk of the Forever Life Church. He had cultivated for many years and was very powerful. So what if that Johnson guy was a disciple of the Profound Group? He was no match for Master William. Thinking of this, Roger's heart relaxed a little. He let out a cold snort. He said to Mark, I didn't want to offend you, but how could I tolerate you forcing me again and again? You and the Green family are merely superficial friends. For the sake of the Green family, you have gone to such great lengths to make the Lamb family your enemy. Is it really worth it? Mark said, What does it have to do with you if it's worth it to me or not? Roger, it seems like you don't have a good memory. I told you that I will protect the Green family from now on. Whoever dares to touch a single hair of the Green family is going against me. It seems like you really want to go against me, you dog. Just because you found a new master in the Monroe family, you decided it was okay to bite back at your original master, or even kill your original master. Mark shook his head and said with some regret, It seems like you are really not a good dog. What you have done is not up to standard. So, I will help your master get rid of you today. Mark's words carried a great insult, hitting Roger in his sorest spot and sending him into a rage. Mark's words to Roger were hugely insulting. Roger pointed at Mark and cursed. Who do you think you are? How dare a brat like you point fingers at me? I respected you just now because you are a member of the Profound Group, but you treat me like that? Well, even if you really are a member of the Profound Group, so what? I am not a pushover. Don't forget that the Lamb family has a trump card. Once it is revealed, it will definitely kill you. Mark chuckled. I heard from Marcy that your Lamb family does indeed have a very powerful trump card. When she told me, I wondered what this trump card was. How powerful was it? But now I know that this trump card of your Lamb family is nothing more than that senior monk, Master William, from the Forever Life Church. You have overestimated him. He doesn't deserve to be called master. He's just a pile of bird poop. Roger's expression changed drastically. So you know that the trump card of our Lamb family is Master William? What a smart kid. How dare you speak so rudely about him? Do you know how powerful Master William is? He is an eminent monk who is cultivated for many years. There's no one else as powerful as him. Kid, do you know that Master William only needs to move his finger slightly to crush you? He will crush you like an ant, because you are so arrogant and conceited. That's right, I admit that I am no match for you. Perhaps the entire Lamb family is no match for you. That's why you are so arrogant, because you have never met a true master. But I promise you that Master William is your nemesis. It's not too late for you to leave now. Since you saved my daughter, Tamsin, I will give you a chance to escape. Hurry up and leave. It'll be too late in a second. Mark deliberately pretended to be afraid. Oh my god, really? Is your trump card really that powerful? Oh my god, I'm so scared. I should run for my life. Roger revealed a proud smile. You'd better run for your life. Otherwise, I promise you that you'll never be able to leave. Master William only needs to lift his hand and then you will be turned into ashes. Get lost, Johnson. Don't let me see you again. Mark suddenly burst into laughter. Roger was instantly enraged. What are you laughing at? I have already given you a chance. Why aren't you running for your life? If you continue to delay here, you will die when Master William comes. Mark stopped laughing and said, Master William is already here. What did you say? Roger was surprised. Mark repeated his words. I said, Master William is here now. Roger was confused. Master William is here? Where is he? Right here. As Mark spoke, he slowly raised the cloth bag in his hand. The bag was dripping blood. What do you mean? Roger looked at the oozing bag and suddenly had a bad feeling. What do I mean? Don't you understand? As Mark spoke, he threw the cloth bag onto the ground. Your Master William is here. Open it and take a look. Roger's eyes widened. He slowly walked over and opened the cloth bag with trembling hands. A bloody head appeared in front of him. This head had no hair. It was a bald head. Master William! Roger almost cried out in shock. The expression on his face suddenly became frightened as he thought, This is Master William's head. Does this mean that Master William is already dead? No, this is impossible. How could this be possible? It was indeed Master William, an eminent monk who had been cultivating in the Forever Life Church for many years. His strength was formidable, and he was also the trump card that the Lamb family relied on to survive. With this trump card, Roger was especially confident. He wasn't afraid of the people of the Profound Group, or anyone else. He had always relied on this trump card, but now it had been completely crushed. And so easily. It was unbelievable. Mark's smile turned mocking when he saw Roger's expression. What's up, Roger? Do you still think that this trump card of your Lamb family is invincible? Roger's face turned pale, and he couldn't speak a single word. A moment later, Roger suddenly stood up, raised the short knife in his hand, and rushed toward Mark. Die! Mark's expression suddenly changed. He raised his foot and kicked at Roger. Crunch! Roger took a solid kick from Mark. He flew through the air and crashed into the wall behind him. The man in black beside him saw what happened and immediately lunged at Mark. However, before he could go more than 2 steps, Mark suddenly raised his right hand and pushed it forward. With a whoosh, a golden flame spurted out from his palm, straight at the man in black. The man in black was instantly ignited by the flame. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a man on fire. He kept struggling and screaming. However, it only lasted for a short 1 to 2 minutes before the man in black turned into ashes and completely disappeared from this world. Looking at the pile of ashes at his feet, Roger's face revealed a look of horror. He recalled the few people he had sent to kidnap Mark's father-in-law, Timothy, in an attempt to break through Mark's disguise. After asking about the whereabouts of the Profound group, those men had also turned into a pile of ashes. This was Mark's handiwork. He only needed to move his finger to turn a living person into ashes. At this moment, Roger was completely terrified. Mark approached Roger step by step. Killing intent had already spread out from his body. When Roger sensed what Mark meant to do, he couldn't help but tremble. He struggled to get up from the ground, then backed up step by step.
Don't you come over here. What are you trying to do? Don't tell me you want to kill me.
Why not? Mark said indifferently as he approached him. If you can kill the Green family, why can't I kill you? Roger suddenly felt a sense of despair. Was he going to die at the hands of this Johnson brat today? No matter what, I am the dignified master of the Lamb family. Am I going to die in the hands of this brat? Roger thought. Roger, do you believe that I can kill you as easily as I can kill a fly? Mark asked. Roger started to pant heavily. He continued to retreat while saying, You can't kill me. There's still the Monroe family behind me. Do you know about the Monroe family? It is one of the most powerful families in the country. They've been here since the earliest settlers. They can do anything, and I am their son-in-law. My wife is Chantel Monroe, and if you kill me, the Monroe family will never let you go. Mark narrowed his eyes. Are you threatening me? I hate those who threaten me the most, Roger. I was just considering whether I should be kind and give you a quick death. But you actually dared to threaten me, so... After saying that, Mark suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed Roger's neck. So what if you have the Monroe family behind you? I will still kill you. Mark exerted force, and a cracking sound was heard. Roger felt a sharp pain in his throat. When he heard the cracking sound, he knew that his throat had been crushed. His eyes bugged. He looked at Mark in disbelief. You really killed me. Before Roger could finish his words, his life was extinguished. Mark let go of Roger's neck, and the body dropped to the ground with a lifeless thud like a sack of wet grain. Mark's face was expressionless, but even Red was shocked and looked at this scene in disbelief. Roger, the famous master of the Lamb family, had died in Mark's hands just like that. Mark had killed him like he was nothing. Mark had also killed that famous Master William. Good grief, how terrifying was this young man in front of him? The old man was surprised when Mark released the ropes tying him to the chair. He only fully regained his senses when he felt his body loosen up. When Red came back to his senses, he grabbed Mark's arm worriedly.
Mark, you have offended the Monroe family by killing Roger. The Monroe family is very powerful.
It's okay. You don't have to worry about me. I know what to do, Mark said. Then Mark helped the old man out of the secret room. Are you all right? Mark asked. Red nodded his head.
I'm fine, but Marcy...
Mark held up a hand. Don't worry, I'll go save her now. Do you want to come with me? Can you hold on?
Of course I can, but where is Marcy?
Red asked. Don't worry, I have already sensed her position, Mark said as he looked up at the second floor of the house. Liam's bedroom was on the second floor, which was also where Marcy was imprisoned. Red had been worried about his granddaughter. Now that Mark was here, he felt relieved, because he knew that now his granddaughter would be fine. Red looked around and said with some doubt,
Mark, why is there no one here? As far as I know, the Lamb's security is very good. There should be a load of those guards everywhere.
Mark said. There were a lot of guards, but I killed most of them. The rest of them are cowards and are hiding somewhere, or they've run away. After Mark killed those guards, he used his palm to shoot out flames and burned them into ashes. Then, with a gust of wind, the ashes disappeared without a trace.
You are a good man,
Red said with admiration. He had lived for so long, and there weren't many people that he admired. Mark was one of the few. Mark ignored the praise and said, "Let's go save Marcy." The two of them went straight to the second floor without running into any interference. At this time, in Liam's bedroom on the second floor, Marcy was tied up on a large bed. In the room, there was another person besides her, Liam. Liam was extremely proud because this woman was finally his. Huh. Liam looked at Marcy, who was struggling on the bed, and couldn't help but laugh. Don't waste your time. You won't be able to escape from me today no matter what. Liam slowly walked over, leaned close to her ear, and said, Beauty, if you're smart, you'll obey me. Your family has been destroyed. What good will it do you to resist me? As long as you obey me, you will be my woman. Serve me well, and I guarantee that your life won't change. You will still live the luxurious life you're used to. Marcy spat at him. Liam, give your head a shake. I would rather die than look at you. I will never submit to you, filth. Liam was furious. He reached out and grabbed Marcy's chin, forcing her to look at him. Are you still so arrogant? In the past, you had your family to support you, but now that they're gone, your grandfather, that stupid old man, will die in my father's hands. Why are you struggling so hard? There's nothing left for you to fight for. Despicable. Marcy spat out contemptuously. Don't be disrespectful. I'm warning you. You appeal to me now, but you're not irreplaceable. I can have any woman I want, and if you're trouble, I may decide to replace you, Liam said, stepping back. Marcy sneered. You'll have to kill me. Otherwise, I will kill myself. I would rather die than let you take advantage of me. Oh, aren't you brave? Unfortunately, I'm not going to kill you, nor will I let you commit suicide. But I will torture you. I'll torture you until you surrender, and then I'll torture you a little bit more. Liam's hand, which was holding Marcy's chin, was gradually exerting force. However, Marcy was staring at him with a stubborn expression. She did not show any signs of giving in, which made Liam somewhat flustered and exasperated. Was this woman really so arrogant and so proud that she still refused to give in? Marcy, is the reason you don't like me because of that Johnson brat? Liam asked. Marcy whispered, So what if it is? Liam gritted his teeth. You? How many days have you known him? Have you fallen in love with him? I've been trying to impress you for so many years, but you won't even look at me. Am I so worthless to you? Yes. Marcy firmly spat out the word. For a second, Liam's face turned red with rage. Then he burst out laughing. You are wrong. You are wrong, Marcy, because now the Green family no longer exists. The Lamb family is now the most powerful family in California, and that Johnson brat will be torn into pieces by me. Although I might have missed my turn, I think Master William has already torn Mark into pieces by now. Marcy stared at him without saying anything. What is it? You don't believe me? Don't be too naive. Do you think that Mark will come and save you? Perhaps, but if he dares to take a step into this house, Master William will kill him with ease. Liam smirked. Do you know Master William? He is an eminent monk who has been cultivating in the Forever Life Church for many years. No one can compare with him. Marcy's expression changed when she heard this. She knew that the Lamb family had a trump card, but she never thought that the trump card was actually Master William. Of course she had heard of Master William before. He was an eminent monk of the Forever Life Church. He was also known as one of the two great experts alongside his senior brother, Master Caleb. There was almost no one in the world who could compare with him. When she thought of this, Marcy's heart was immediately lifted. She suddenly regretted calling Mark earlier. If Mark really came, wouldn't that mean that he would die in Master William's hands? Mark was powerful, but how could he be a match for Master William? That shouldn't be the case. She really shouldn't have called Mark and dragged him into this mess. Seeing the change in Marcy's expression, Liam felt somewhat proud. He slowly let go of Marcy's chin and said, "What is it? Beginning to worry about the Johnson brat? Marcy, if you beg me for mercy and agree to be my woman and serve me well, maybe I can give you something. Maybe I can spare Mark. Although, I can't guarantee it because he might be dead already. I don't know if Master William has dealt with him or not. And if Mark is dead, he has only himself to blame. It's not like I asked him to snatch my woman and interfere in my life." A voice suddenly came from outside the door. "Eh? Is that so?" Liam was shocked when he heard the voice. He turned around and instinctively looked at the bedroom door. The next second, it flew open with a crash. A man suddenly appeared in the doorway. He had a biting cold aura. He stood there with his arms crossed and looked coldly at Liam in the bedroom. Liam was shocked. His eyes widened. "Johnson, you're not dead yet?" Red appeared behind Mark.
Dead? Liam, do you really think it's that easy for Mark to die? Then you have underestimated him."
Mark and Red walked into the bedroom. Liam was even more shocked when he saw these two people. "Green? You're not dead either?" Red smiled gently and said,
"Liam, did you think that the people of the Green family all died today, including Mark here? Well, yes, people did indeed die today. But fortunately, the two of us were not among them."
Red took a moment to scratch the side of his nose.
"I'll let you into a little secret, Liam. Some other people died today too, but they weren't Mark or me either. They were members of the Lamb family. And yes, even more people are going to die very soon, and neither will they be Mark or me. They will be you."
Liam looked dumbfounded. "You? What did you say?" At this moment, Marcy cried out, "Grandpa, Mark, you're alive!" Mark looked at Marcy, who was tied up on the bed, and found that although she had suffered some superficial wounds, there were no signs of her being violated by Liam. Only then did he feel like he could breathe again. Mark walked over and reached out to grab the rope around Marcy's body. With a slight twist and tug, the rope broke. "Marcy, you have suffered," Mark said. He did not expect Marcy to jump into his arms in excitement and hug him tightly. She said with a choked voice, "You are alive. I thought you were already dead. Do you know how sad I was? I regret calling you. I shouldn't have dragged you into this mess." Marcy Green, who had always been calm and composed, was now crying like a child. At this moment, Marcy suddenly understood that deep in her heart, she was afraid of losing Mark. Now that she saw Mark was still alive and standing in front of her safe and sound, she could not hide her excitement and revealed her true emotions. This was not her style. Marcy always prided herself on doing things without showing emotion. But at this moment, she really could not control herself. She was too excited and relieved. Mark suddenly felt a little awkward when Marcy hugged him tightly. He could clearly smell the unique and delicate female fragrance coming from her body. He sniffed awkwardly and said, "Marcy, I'm fine. Why are you crying?" Marcy realized she had lost her composure and quickly left Mark's embrace. She wiped her tears and lowered her head.
Marcy, don't worry. Nothing will happen to Mark because he is a true expert,
Red said to his granddaughter. His words were not only to comfort her, but also to express how shocked and impressed he was by Mark's power. Just now, in the secret chamber of the mansion, Red saw with his own eyes that Mark's palm could spit fire, turning a person into ashes in an instant. What kind of power was that? Only the most powerful masters had such power. Red was shocked to the core. It turned out that Mark Johnson was much stronger than he had imagined. At the same time, Red was also delighted because he was glad that he had gotten to know someone as powerful as Mark. At this moment, Liam completely panicked because the situation completely exceeded his understanding. He had firmly believed that Red and Mark must have been killed by Master William. He certainly didn't expect that they were still alive, and that they would appear in front of him like this. Mark slowly turned his eyes to Liam and said, "Liam, what did you say just now? You said that if I die, I can only blame my bad luck." "That's true. So I guess it's also true that if I kill Master William instead, then I can only blame his bad luck." Liam tried his best to calm himself down. He didn't want to lose his cool in front of Mark. "What did you say? You killed Master William? What kind of joke is this? Master William is not some random nobody. How could he be beaten to death by you? Master William should have beaten you to death. Master William is one of the top experts in this world. He only needs to move his fingers and he could crush you." One expert after another. Mark couldn't help but laugh. That stupid Master William. Do you really think he is that powerful? If that's the case, then you can only blame yourselves for being blind. A nobody. That's right. That pathetic Master William is just a nobody in my eyes. He's nothing. After hearing these words, Liam's face revealed a shocked expression. He pointed at Mark and said loudly, "You dare to insult Master William? Do you know what you are doing? Do you know what you are saying? Kid, I can assure you that if Master William hears what you just said, he will kill you on the spot." "So what if he hears me? I'm afraid he doesn't have the ability to kill me. It doesn't matter, though. I can say what I want. He won't be able to hear me because he has already gone to hell," Mark said. Liam shook his head. "You still dare to speak so arrogantly and look down on Master William? Brett, I promise you that you will pay the price for what you just said. Master William will never let you go." Mark made a dismissive motion with his hands. "Forget it. Let's forget about that stinky monk for now. Think of a way to save yourself first, Liam. You should be glad that you did not do anything to Marcy. If you had, you wouldn't still be standing here talking to me. You are already a dead man." Liam crossed his arms over his chest. "Humph, arrogant words, Johnson. Now we're in the territory of the Lamb family. Do you know? Entering the Lamb family's property is equivalent to entering hell. Don't even think about leaving this place alive." "Is that so?" Mark narrowed his eyes and approached Liam step by step. "I really can't leave this place alive? Are you sure?" Liam was shocked by the killing intent that was spreading out from Mark's body. Liam's heart was filled with panic, and he couldn't help but retreat. "You, don't come over here. Let me tell you, if you dare touch even a hair of mine, my father will have you killed." "Eh? You still think your family has the ability to do so?" Mark continued to approach Liam with a sneer on his face. Seeing Mark approaching him, Liam panicked and suddenly shouted at the top of his lungs toward the door. "Someone! Anyone come here!
Quickly go and get Master William to help me take this kid down.
Unfortunately, no matter how loudly Liam shouted, no one came. This puzzled Liam. His family had many guards and fighters, and Liam had many personal bodyguards as well. Whenever he called them, those bodyguards would appear in front of him promptly. But now, no matter how hard he shouted, no one came in. He couldn't help but curse to himself.
Damn it, where is he? Where are they? Someone come in! Come here!
Stop shouting, Mark said, then stopped in front of Liam. Liam, no matter how loud you shout, no one will come, because there's no one left in your family but you. Liam's heart couldn't help but thump after hearing this.
What did you say? There's no one left?
Mark nodded seriously. No one. Otherwise, how do you think we could come in so easily? Liam's eyes widened as he realized the truth of Mark's words. If there was anyone left, they'd be here, fighting. Instead, there was nothing but silence. If Liam's father or Master William or even the security guards were around, they would have arrived and dealt with this Johnson brat. But now, Liam looked at Mark with frightened eyes, then looked at Red, who was standing there silently. Liam suddenly felt uneasy. The situation seemed a little strange. Mark said, "Stop looking like a deer in headlights, Liam. I can tell you very clearly what happened. Your father, Roger, and the trump card that he had and you kept boasting about, Master William, are already dead. Of course, all your bodyguards and fighters are also dead. As I said, there's no one besides you in the Lamb family now."
No, that's impossible,
Liam shouted. In his anger, he raised his hand and pointed at Mark. He said loudly,
Don't you try to fool me. How could my father die? How could Master William die? It must be that they haven't found you yet. My dad likes to play cat and mouse games. He must be deliberately playing with you. When he's had enough fun, he'll kill you.
You still won't believe the truth? Mark shook his head speechlessly and looked at Red.
Red said, Mark, there's no need to keep talking with him. Since Roger is already dead, there's no need for his son to live anymore.
Mark nodded. That's right. Liam, I think we should stop talking and send you to hell as soon as possible. Your father and Master William left not long ago. Maybe you can catch up to them. Mark slowly raised his hand as he spoke. Liam was frightened and shouted,
You dare to kill me? Master William will not spare you.
Mark slapped Liam in the head and knocked him to the ground. What is wrong with you? You still want to use the useless Master William to pressure me? I told you that the bald monk is already dead, but still you don't believe me? Fine, I'll let you die with an understanding. After saying that, Mark stretched out his hand and lifted Liam up. Then he turned around and walked out of the bedroom. Liam struggled and screamed. He wanted to fight back, but in Mark's hands, he was like a wet rag, unable to fight at all.
What are you doing? Let go of me! Let go of me!
Mark ignored Liam's struggle and carried him to the secret chamber where Roger had been torturing Red. The first thing Liam saw was a dead body lying on the ground. When he took a closer look, he realized that it was his father, Roger. Then he saw a bloody bald head, eyes wide and staring. A strangled noise came from Liam's throat as he took a closer look. Damn, that was Master William's head? Liam was completely dumbfounded. He couldn't believe what he saw in front of him. His father was dead? Master William was also dead? Mark stood to the side with his arms crossed. He looked at the pale-faced Liam and asked, So, you still think you can use Master William to pressure me? Are you going to use your father to pressure me too? Liam collapsed to the ground as if the strength had been sucked out of him. You did this to them? You killed my father and Master William? Liam couldn't believe his eyes. Mark nodded. That's right. I killed them. So you are actually as strong as they say. Liam suddenly laughed crazily. And you are the true master. Even Master William, the trump card our Lamb family relied on to survive, couldn't withstand a single blow from you. Liam laughed again, a note of hysterics in his voice. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. The Lamb's lost. We lost because there was a true master in front of us, but we couldn't see it. We lost so badly. It's too late for you to realize this now, Mark said. Liam stopped laughing. He slowly looked up at Mark. Are you going to kill me too? What do you think? Mark asked back. Liam, if you were really innocent, I could have spared your life. But when you attacked the Green family, almost all of them were killed. Even the extended family. The ones who had nothing to do with Red and Marcy except be related to them. What did they ever do to hurt you? You could have ignored them and just gone after Red and his immediate family. But you decided instead on wholesale slaughter. Those were innocent lives. What's even worse is that they were old people and children as well as adults. Mark shook his head in disgust. Do you think you shouldn't pay for their deaths with your own? Liam was shocked. The next second, he stumbled to his knees and crawled to Mark's feet, like a subservient dog. I didn't do it. It was my father who did it. It has nothing to do with me. Don't kill me. Please spare me. Mark lifted his foot and stepped on Liam's chest. Spare you? Do you think that's possible? Liam was so heavily stepped on that he could barely breathe. A moment later, he choked out a ferocious laugh and said fiercely, Johnson, don't be so stupid. Do you know who the backer of the Lamb family is? It's the Monroe family. My grandfather, Frank Monroe, is a fighting and martial arts expert. If you kill me, my grandfather will never let you go. Hearing this, Mark's anger immediately rose. Roger had used the Monroe family to threaten him, and now Liam was doing the same thing. Who did Liam think Mark was that he could threaten him like that? Mark's foot stepped harder on Liam's chest. He sneered and said, Is the Monroe family really that powerful? I would like to see how they try to take revenge on me after I kill you. So saying, Mark exerted more force on his leg. With a cracking sound, Liam's sternum snapped. Liam didn't even have the time to scream. His eyes were wide open, as if he had died in shock and fear. He was dead. Liam was dead, just like his father. It was required. Only then did Mark slowly lift his foot. As he did, Red and Marcy arrived in the secret chamber. They saw the two corpses as well as the bloody head. Then they saw Mark's grim expression. The grandfather and granddaughter couldn't help but feel shocked. Mark had attacked so ruthlessly. Luckily, they were friends with him, because the last thing they wanted to be was his enemy. Red and Marcy felt sad for the people of the Lamb family, but at the same time, they felt lucky for themselves. Of course, they were more than grateful to Mark, because not only had Mark saved them, but he had also helped them kill Roger and Master William. By so doing, he had avenged their relatives' deaths. Mark gave Red and Marcy an indifferent glance, then said, From today onwards, there will be no more Lamb family in California. Red, I have paved the way for you. Now, it will be your Green family's turn. Yes,
thank you for your great kindness. The Green family will never let you down, but—"
Red inhaled through his teeth.
"It's just that you have offended the Monroe family for our sake, and—"
Mark interrupted before Red could finish. "Don't mention the Monroe family to me anymore. Since I dared to touch the Lamb family, I don't give a damn about the Monroes." Upon hearing this, Red and Marcy looked at each other. Once again, they were shocked. The Monroe family ancestors had come over on the Mayflower. This family was deeply rooted and had many branches all over the country. It was much more extensive and powerful than the Lambs had ever dreamed of. No matter how powerful Mark was, he was still just one man. He might be able to destroy the Lamb family, but he would not be able to fight a family as big and powerful as the Monroes. So Red and Marcy were worried for Mark. Right then, the sound of footsteps suddenly came from outside the secret chamber. The old man frowned and said,
"Someone is coming."
Marcy immediately became nervous. "Aren't all the people of the Lamb family dead? Why is someone coming? Who can it be?"
"Tamsin and Chantel are still alive,"
Red said. Mark rubbed his chin and said, "If you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten that Liam has a younger sister. Her name is Tamsin. She is at the same university as my sister-in-law. I have seen her before. She is a very arrogant and domineering young woman." Marcy said, "Tonight, such a big thing happened. Why was Tamsin not here?" Mark said, "Tamsin is not only arrogant and despotic, but also very rebellious. I guess this young lady is often away from home and is not much interested in anything other than herself, so it's not surprising that we haven't set eyes on her. But—" Mark paused for a second and continued. "Tamsin and Liam's mother, Roger's wife, Chantel, never showed up either. That seems strange to me." Red said,
"Chantel has not been in California for some time. She has gone to the capital because in a few days' time, the old man of the Monroe family, Frank, will have his 80th birthday, and they're throwing a huge birthday party for him. Although Chantel was married to Roger, she was still one of Frank's daughters, and they were very close. So of course she went to be with him. That's why she's not here right now."
So that's how it is," Mark said. As soon as his voice faded, the footsteps outside the door could be heard getting closer and closer. Marcy said, "I wonder who this person is. Is it Tamsin, or is it Chantel?" The footsteps in the corridor outside the secret room in the Lamb mansion came closer and closer. Then a woman's voice called, "Dad, Liam, where are you?" After hearing this voice, Mark frowned. "It's Tamsin." Red's face suddenly became very serious. A flash of killing intent flickered through his eyes. He said to Mark,
"Since you want to kill them, then kill them all."
As soon as Red finished speaking, a figure appeared at the door of the secret chamber. "Dad, Liam, are you guys in here?" Tamsin called. Although Tamsin was at university, her personality was still very rebellious, like a teenager. University was just an excuse to party and have fun for her because a spoiled child from a rich family like hers did not need a degree or any particular knowledge at all. So she did not spend most of her time in school. During the day, she hung out at the mall. At night, she would go to various nightclubs with her friends and live a life of drunkenness and dreams. She never cared about family matters, and her father never told her about them, so Tamsin did not know that Liam and her father had been planning to destroy the Greens, or that their dastardly attack had backfired on them. Tamsin only knew that her father and brother had been keeping a secret for the past few days. It seemed that they were discussing something big, but she did not care about it. When she got home, she found that the whole house was quiet, and there was almost no one there, which made her feel a little strange. Normally, no matter how late she returned, the security guards, bodyguards, and maids would be there and at her beck and call. But why was it so quiet today? Where was everybody? After Tamsin entered the house, she smelled blood. It made her really uneasy. She went upstairs and looked around every room. She did not see her father or her brother. No guards, no maids. Tamsin muttered as she walked to the secret room. She knew that it had been specially built and was very well hidden. Usually, only her father, Roger, would come here. So Tamsin wondered if her father and brother were in the secret room discussing something important. She headed there to find them. She found that the door of the secret chamber was open, and there were people inside. She thought that it was her father and brother, so she walked right in. But when she walked in, she was shocked. Because the first thing she saw was 3 people in the secret chamber, 2 men and a woman. She quickly recognized that the old man was Red Green, and the woman, who was about the same age as her, was Red's granddaughter, Marcy. There was also a young man with an extraordinary aura. The last time she was at LAU, she was struck by the fish venom, and it was this man who saved her. This man was Mark Johnson. Why are you all in here? Tamsin immediately felt puzzled. This was the secret chamber of her family. Outsiders could not enter or exit it easily, so why were these 3 people here, alone? Where are my father and brother? Tamsin demanded, but her eyes had already turned to the corpses on the ground. Although the 2 bodies were face down and their features could not be seen clearly, she still recognized at a glance that they were her father and her brother. There was also a bloody head. Wasn't that Master William? Tamsin's face turned pale. She couldn't believe what she saw in front of her. Her father and brother were dead? Dad, Liam! Tamsin threw herself at the 2 corpses in an instant and cried loudly, "No!" This rebellious and stubborn woman felt like her world had collapsed. All of her wealth and glory came from her family. She'd never had to work a day in her life because Roger and Liam paid for everything. Now she had nothing. Tamsin's tragic weeping echoed in the secret room. Marcy felt a little uncomfortable. Although she knew that this young lady was arrogant and domineering, she had suddenly lost 2 relatives. No wonder she was miserable. As for Red, his brows were tightly knitted. The killing intent on his face did not dissipate. First of all, Tamsin was a member of the Lamb family. Roger Lamb had sent people to launch a surprise attack on the Greens, killing all their immediate and extended family. In Red's opinion, the Lamb family should pay for that heinous act with their lives. It wasn't enough for Roger and Liam to die. This Tamsin must pay with her life for the deaths of the Green family. Red gave Marcy a look and said, "Kill." Marcy understood what her grandfather meant. She felt that Tamsin was pitiful, but still, she was a lamb. Red held out a short knife to Marcy. She took it from him and walked toward Tamsin. With Marcy's skills, it would be easy for her to kill Tamsin. However, at this moment, Mark suddenly waved his hand and made a stop gesture. Then he said to Marcy, "Wait." Marcy stopped in her tracks. Red looked at Mark and said, "This woman must die." Tamsin heard him and suddenly stopped crying and looked up at the 3 people standing in front of her. Then she asked, "Did you kill them?" No one said anything, but the answer was obvious. Silence was agreement. Tamsin suddenly widened her eyes, staring fixedly at the three people in front of her. "How dare you kill my family?" Tamsin shouted loudly. Then she turned her eyes to Mark and said, "You saved me last time at LAU. Initially I was grateful to you, but I didn't expect you to kill my father and brother for no reason. Why? Why did you do that?" Tamsin broke down. Tears flowed down her face as she shouted at Mark. "You killed my father and brother. I will kill you." She was about to lunge at Mark when Marcy suddenly raised the short knife in her hand and said, "Don't move, or I will kill you." Tamsin stopped in her tracks. The eldest daughter of the Lambs had been born into an old fighting and martial arts family. Her father and brother were both very skilled, and her grandfather, Frank Monroe, was also a martial arts expert. However, she had never been interested in fighting. When she was young, her father tried teaching her fighting skills, but she was always a spoiled brat and refused to practice. Now, as an adult, she was barely able to protect herself. Facing Mark, Red, and Marcy, Tamsin had no clue how to attack them or how to defend herself if they attacked her. She was helpless. They were on completely different levels. Red did not want to waste any more time here. He said to Mark,
"We cannot let this woman live. Let Marcy take care of her."
"No." Mark shook his head. A puzzled look appeared on Red's face, and he cautiously asked,
"What? Do you want to spare her life? This young lady is a lamb. If we let her go now, she will definitely report this to the Monroe family. And then—"
Before Red could finish his words, Mark shook his head and interrupted him. He said, "We won't kill her now. She might be useful." Red and Marcy looked at each other. For a moment, they could not figure out what Mark was thinking. But since Mark had spoken, even if they wanted to kill Tamsin, they had to wait. Mark was in charge.
"Mark?"
Just as Red was about to ask why Mark wanted to keep Tamsin alive, he suddenly felt a cold wind rush past him. It brushed past his body and flew across the room. This cold wind made Red shiver. Before he could understand what was going on, he saw Tamsin tremble, and then she froze on the spot. Her eyes suddenly widened, and in the next second, her entire body began to tremble. First, it was a slight tremble. Then it became bigger and bigger until she was shaking violently. Marcy was surprised. "What's going on? Tamsin, she—" Before Marcy could finish, Mark suddenly realized something. "She is possessed!" Mark shouted, and instinctively turned around to look behind him. "What? What did you say?" Marcy did not understand, and neither did Red. Only Mark understood, but he was not completely sure. At this moment, Tamsin suddenly stopped trembling, and her whole body slowly returned to normal. However, her expression had changed. Her entire persona had changed. She slowly looked at Mark, and the corner of her mouth revealed a smile. Then she said, "Benefactor, I have finally found a suitable body for me to possess." Red and Marcy's expressions changed drastically because Tamsin's voice had changed. It was no longer her voice, but another female voice. Mark narrowed his eyes. "Ruby Hill?" That's right. The Yellow River Queen, who had been following him all this time, had suddenly decided to possess Tamsin Lamb's body. Mark remembered the incident with the Yellow River Queen and the transparent coffin. The Yellow River Queen was actually a young woman called Ruby Hill who had drowned herself in the Yellow River in order to escape a forced marriage. After Mark helped her, in order to repay his kindness, she decided to stay by Mark's side. At that time, Ruby Hill had manifested herself as a half-human and half-ghost, so she could move around in the world. But Mark had made her invisible so she wouldn't scare people. Ruby Hill had been very obedient. She had stayed by Mark's side for the past several days, invisible all the time and not showing herself. The only people who could see Ruby Hill when she was invisible were true and powerful masters like Mark. In fact, Mark had not thought much about Ruby Hill's desire to repay him. These past few days when she had been invisible, Mark had almost forgotten her existence. But now, at this critical moment, Ruby Hill suddenly dashed out from behind Mark and attached herself to Tamsin's body. This was unexpected. "Ruby, what are you doing? Without my permission, you can't simply attach yourself to someone else's body," Mark said. Tamsin, who was now Ruby Hill, smiled and said, "Benefactor, I followed you to repay your kindness. It's just that I am a ghost, and it is not convenient for me to show myself, so I have been looking to find a suitable body to possess. Ever since this woman called Tamsin came in, I have been observing her and discovered that she is a person of pure female energy. To me, she is perfect, so I took advantage of a moment when she was feeling down. When her soul was unstable, I took the opportunity to attach myself to her body. Benefactor, please don't blame me. The situation was urgent, so I didn't have time to ask for your permission." Mark shook his head helplessly and said, "I had a great use for Tamsin, but now you've taken over her body." He paused and thought for a moment before continuing. "But maybe it is also good that you did that. Only I know that you are Ruby Hill. To the eyes of anyone else, you are still Tamsin Lamb. This way you can do a lot of things for me." "I am doing this to make it easier for you and repay your kindness. If Benefactor has anything to say, just say it," Ruby said. At this time, Red and Marcy were dumbfounded. Red said, "Mr. Johnson, what is going on? The person in front of us is clearly Tamsin, but why does it seem like she has changed into a different person? Why do you call her Ruby Hill?" Marcy also said in puzzlement, "But who is Ruby Hill? What is going on?" In the secret chamber of the Lamb Mansion, Mark explained to Marcy and Red what had happened to Tamsin Lamb. Mark said, "The Tamsin in front of us has been possessed by the Yellow River Queen. The Yellow River Queen's real name is Ruby Hill. When I solved the matter of the transparent coffin in Dragon Bay, I met her and helped her get revenge. And in order to repay my kindness, she stayed by my side." Then Mark raised his hand and pointed at Tamsin, who was opposite him, and said, "The current Tamsin, right there, is Ruby Hill." "So that's how it is." Although Red and Marcy felt the situation was very strange, they had to believe Mark's words. "Does this mean that Ruby Hill has occupied Tamsin's body?" Marcy asked. "Yes," Mark nodded. Then he said to Ruby, "Only the three of us know that you are actually Ruby Hill, but to everyone else, you are Tamsin Lamb. This can be considered as a cover-up." After that, Mark said, "I have killed Roger and Liam. The people of the Monroe family will definitely not let this matter rest. The second they hear about it, they'll be out for blood. If Tamsin had escaped, she would have rushed to inform the Monroes as soon as possible. So, I suggest that you go to the Monroe family as Tamsin. Tell them everything that happened, and help me monitor their movements." Ruby nodded. "Yes, Benefactor, I understand. Please rest assured that I will definitely do as you ask." After that, they left the mansion, and Ruby went to report to the Monroe family. Before leaving the secret chamber, Mark used his powers to burn the bodies and Master William's head in the secret chamber. The next day, Red asked Marcy to start procedures to acquire the various properties that had been owned by the Lamb family. From now on, the Lamb family would be nothing but a memory in California. The Green family would once again be the richest family in the state. The Lambs, who everyone knew had wanted to surpass the Greens, were gone. This incident shocked California. No one knew the details, but everyone knew that a huge fire suddenly broke out at Red Green's mountain retreat, killing most of his extended family. People also knew that Roger and Liam, as well as all their bodyguards and fighters, disappeared overnight. No one knew where they had gone. Some people guessed that they were already dead, but no bodies or traces of bodies were found. They would never think that those people were burned by Mark's flames, turned into ashes, and disappeared without a trace. The chief of police and the mayor both knew about the long-standing feud between the two families, and they had long expected some kind of confrontation between them. Now that the Lambs were gone, the feud was over, and both the police and City Hall breathed a sigh of relief and tacitly agreed to turn a blind eye to the situation. After all, accidents happen sometimes. Buildings burned and people died. And the Lambs might have just decided to move elsewhere. A couple of nights after the attack, Red and Marcy sat on the sofa in a luxurious residence in the downtown area. Marcy said, "Grandpa, I have followed your instructions and worked at lightning speed. Now all the Lamb properties are under our name." Red nodded.
"We did not let Mark down. He helped us eliminate the Lamb family and paved the way for us. We have to rely on ourselves now."
"That's right, Grandpa. It's all thanks to Mark this time. He really is our benefactor," Marcy said from the bottom of her heart. From the very beginning, Red could tell that Mark was a rare individual, so he had been respectful to Mark from the very beginning. Now it seemed like his judgment had been right. Red said,
"I think the best decision I ever made in my life was to befriend Mark Johnson. I'm really glad it happened."
Red raised his head and looked at his granddaughter.
"So, Marcy, if our family is going to live forever, we must convince Mark to help us. He is a rare expert in this world."
"Yes, Grandpa, don't worry. I will get on good terms with Mark," Marcy said. But the old man shook his head.
"Marcy, do you know how to convince someone to help? It is not as simple as getting on good terms with someone. You need to build a relationship with him. A relationship that he will never give up. Only then can Mark become someone we can rely on forever."
"Grandpa, how can we build a relationship with Mark that he will never give up?" Marcy asked.
Red said, "There is only one way, and that is to make Mark my grandson-in-law."
Marcy was shocked. "Make Mark your grandson-in-law? Grandpa, what do you mean?"
Red laughed and then said, "A smart woman like my granddaughter actually doesn't understand what I mean. Grandpa's meaning is very simple. I mean to make you and Mark a couple. This way, he will have a deeper relationship with our family. If he has feelings for you, he will also have feelings for your relatives. He will treat our family as his own and protect us."
"Grandpa, what nonsense are you talking?" After Marcy recovered from her shock, a shy expression appeared on her face. She said, "Grandpa, Mark is already married. He has a wife. How can you say such things?" Seeing his granddaughter's shy look, Red burst into laughter once again.
"When I mentioned it, your face turned red. How long have you been interested in Mark?"
"Grandpa, stop talking nonsense. If Mark heard this, he would certainly be angry. He is a married man with a wife and a family. You know this."
"Of course I know it," Red said. And I also know that his marriage is not a happy one. He's just a son-in-law, and his wife's family treats him very badly. Marcy, Mark is clearly a very special man, but his life is that of a worthless slave. It's really a pity. No one needs that kind of existence. Besides, we don't live in the Stone Age. Divorces are easy to get. Remember, Marcy, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve whatever you want. Understand?
Red smiled at his granddaughter before he went on.
Marcy, there are not many things in our lives that we can truly have and cherish. Mark is a rare benefactor. I'm not asking you to fight for him just for the sake of our family, but also for your own happiness. You have already fallen in love with him, haven't you?
Oh, Grandpa, please don't say any more. Marcy felt especially embarrassed because her grandfather was right. Yes, from the first time she saw Mark, she had liked this young man who could not be any more ordinary. She didn't have any special feelings toward him in the beginning, but later on, she discovered that he was full of surprises. And recently, the strength Mark displayed was enough to prove that he was a rare expert in the world. It was only at this moment that Marcy realized that she actually had feelings for Mark. On the surface, she was calm, but on the inside, her heart was in turmoil. Marcy's character had always been mature and steady. No matter what happened, she did not show her emotions. But the more a person was like this, the more emotional they became inside. Red's intention was also very obvious. He wanted his granddaughter to grab Mark for herself, but Marcy wasn't happy about that. Mark was outstanding and powerful, but she, Marcy, would not go to the extent of snatching other people's husbands. She had to admit in her heart that Mark was already someone else's man, and it seemed like he loved his wife very much. So Marcy was not willing to continue this topic with her grandfather. She changed the subject and said, "Okay, Grandpa, let's not talk about this anymore. By the way, what do you plan to do about Uncle Bob?" At the mention of his second son, Red's face suddenly became gloomy.
I have had many disappointments in my life, but I didn't expect my son to be one of them.
He sighed. Marcy also felt unhappy. She had never thought that her uncle would do such a thing. Red said,
Marcy, you can handle this matter as you see fit.
The business management of the Green family had always been in Bob's hands. Now the Lamb family had been destroyed. Bob had lost his backer, and the things that he had done had been exposed. Now Red had given full control of the Green family's business dealings to Marcy. What Red needed to do now was to clean up his family, cut out the dead wood, so to speak. However, Bob was Red's biological son, and Red could not bear to personally do the deed, so he decided to have his granddaughter handle this matter. Marcy was in a dilemma. Grandpa, no matter what, Bob is my uncle, my elder. How can a junior like me deal with him? I'm afraid this matter needs to be handled by you.
Red said, My son betrayed his family. He almost caused our complete destruction. Furthermore, he colluded with the Lamb family to kill most of our relatives, so there is no need to keep him around.
Marcy was shocked when she heard this. Grandpa, you mean to make Uncle Bob? But he's your son after all. Red grimaced.
He is my son. I have always regarded him as my son. But did he ever treat me as his father? If he really did treat me as his father, he wouldn't have attacked me 3 years ago.
Red said seriously,
Marcy, do you know what would have happened if Mark hadn't shown up this time?
Marcy shook her head. Red sighed.
Marcy, if Mark hadn't been there, the entire Green family would have been destroyed, and it would have been Bob's fault. Don't you think he deserves the most severe punishment for such an outrageous act? He's my son, yes, but his life is worthless.
Marcy understood that Uncle Bob had committed a heinous crime. Even if he paid for it with his life, it would not make up for his monstrous crime. But no matter what, he was still family. Was she really going to sentence Uncle Bob to death? Marcy thought for a moment, then asked tentatively, "Grandpa, Uncle Bob's mistake is indeed unforgivable, but he is still a member of our family. Why don't we just disown him?"
I wish it was that simple.
Red sighed again.
If I disown him, chase him out, I don't know what kind of things he might do to hurt us. All right, don't worry about it. I can see it makes you as uncomfortable as it makes me. I will get one of my men to do it.
Marcy was silent for a long time. After a while, she said again, "Grandfather, Uncle Bob has been asking to see you."
He still has the gall to face me. All right, Marcy. I want to rest for a while.
Marcy could only nod her head and leave him alone. However, she'd only gone a few steps when Red spoke again.
Okay, I won't do it. Bob can keep his life, for now, but he will remain under lock and key.
Marcy sighed, and a lot of melancholy suddenly surged in her heart. She bid farewell to her grandfather and walked out of the house. Outside, she took a breath of fresh air and felt her mood lighten. When she felt low, Marcy liked to talk to someone, and always made her feel better. She instinctively wanted to find Mark. She wanted to tell him about the things that happened and the things that were troubling her. She took out her phone to call him, but then she remembered something. Mark had a wife, and he was probably with her at this very moment. Marcy looked at her phone in silence before putting it back in her pocket. After settling this matter for the Green family, Mark felt relaxed. There were two things he needed to do next. First, he needed to make the best use of his time to develop Dragon Bay. Second, he had to quickly develop the fairy toner and promote it to the market. He wanted to develop Dragon Bay so that he could have a stable income. After all, it was impossible to live decently without money. It was also impossible to have money and still be considered a nobody. Once he successfully developed Dragon Bay, at least on the surface, other people would think that he had become a very successful real estate developer. He would have a reputation, unlike now when everyone just thought that he was a useless son-in-law who had married into a good family. If he truly wanted to get rid of the title of son-in-law, he had to rely on his own efforts. As for the research and sale of the fairy toner, it was to help Nicole. This woman looked fragile on the surface, but in fact, she was a standard strong woman. Mark knew how important a career was to her, and she'd done incredibly well by herself. But she needed help now, and Mark was the only one who could give it to her. It was a pity that she didn't believe him, which made Mark feel helpless. But it didn't matter. Time would prove everything. Mark took out his phone and called his sister-in-law. After the call connected, Mark said, "Kelly, the fairy toner I gave you to try out. Is it all right to use?" At the other end of the phone, Kelly's voice became excited. "Mark, I was just about to call you. The fairy toner is really useful. I've already given a few bottles to my classmates. After they used them, they all agreed. It worked even faster than the best cosmetics they've ever tried." "So, do you have any more of the fairy toner? My classmates are all lining up for it." Mark was pleased, but not surprised. "Great, I'm glad they like it. I'm going to find a company to cooperate with and push this fairy toner to the market. At that time, your classmates can buy it directly. That's great. Fairy toner is so magical. If it is pushed to the market, it will definitely be very popular. I support you 100%, Kelly said. Mark smiled to himself and said, My intent is to help your sister. Nicole's company can represent Fairy Toner and create their own cosmetics brand with it. And it's just a pity that your sister doesn't believe in me. Kelly sighed. Nicole is stubborn, but don't worry, I will help you persuade her. Fairy Toner is so good. If her company can create a brand with it, it will definitely be a huge success. It's understandable that Nicole doesn't believe in me, Mark said. After all, I was a bit cowardly in the past, but I believe that time will prove everything. Mark hung up the phone, but then he called Marcy. Marcy, can you do me a favor? Marcy was happy when she received Mark's call. She quickly said, Mr. Johnson, you don't have to be polite with me. Just tell me if you need anything. Mark said, It's like this. I have a secret prescription for a cosmetic. It's called Fairy Toner, and it's very effective, and the ladies who have tried it love it. I want you to help me find a company to develop this Fairy Toner. After that, I will package it and push it to the market. Marcy was a little surprised and asked, Mr. Johnson, you're interested in the cosmetics industry? Is this a cosmetics product that you developed yourself? Mark chuckled. I developed it myself to help my wife because her company is in trouble. If this Fairy Toner becomes popular, I think it will help her. Hearing this, Marcy was disappointed. She could tell that Mr. Johnson loved his wife very much. He was now researching cosmetics and asking Marcy for help because of his wife. But Marcy quickly adjusted her mood. Okay, I understand. There is a company under the Green family that develops cosmetics. I will go talk to them. Leave this to me, Mr. Johnson. Mark said, Thank you, Marcy. You don't need to be so polite to me, Marcy said. If it wasn't for you, the Green family wouldn't have seen today. So from now on, the Green family belongs to you. In the future, Mr. Johnson, if you have any problems or need any help, just ask. Marcy, you don't need to call me Mr. Johnson. Just call me Mark, Mark said. To be honest, Marcy had always been respectful to Mark. She would call him Mr. Johnson most of the time. Speaking of which, the two of them were about the same age. Therefore, Marcy constantly calling him Mr. Johnson made Mark feel a little awkward. Marcy was surprised by the request. Mark hurriedly explained, We are about the same age. You keep calling me Mr. Johnson, which makes me feel uncomfortable, so just call me by my name, okay? Okay. Marcy smiled slightly to herself. After hanging up the phone, Mark went straight to Nicole's company. At this time, in her office, Nicole was sitting at her desk with a frown on her face. Recently, business had not been smooth. Maybe it was because of the Sean incident. It had certainly had a negative impact on the company, because the few other companies that had recently collaborated with Nicole's company had all canceled their cooperation agreements. Then, a few days ago, Anna went to find the boss of Melee, Steve Cooper, to discuss a possible business collaboration. Anna originally thought that she would be able to strike a big deal with Steve, but in the end, it was all for nothing. Steve Cooper turned out to be a real sleaze, and Anna had come within a hair's breadth of being assaulted and losing her virginity. As Nicole got to that point in her thoughts, someone knocked on her office door. Come in. The office door opened and a person walked in. Nicole looked up and saw that it was none other than her useless husband, Mark. What are you doing here? Nicole's tone was indifferent and even a little cold. It was not directed at Mark, nor did it mean that she hated him. Even though she knew that the incident with Sean was caused by Mark, she didn't have much resentment in her heart. After all, Mark had done it to let her see Sean's true colors. She wasn't angry about that anymore. However, when she thought about that time Mark received a call from Marcy in the middle of the night and then rushed out looking very anxious, She felt more than a little unhappy. Mark seemed to care a lot about the young lady of the Green family. Mark said, "Nicole, my fairy toner went through the preliminary tests and the testers loved it. Therefore, the next step is to find a company to cooperate with, then push it to the market. Of course, the reason why I developed this fairy toner is to help you. If you're willing, I won't look for other companies. Your company can directly produce and sell it." Nicole waved her hand and interrupted him. "Stop right there." Then she said, "I have already said this once. Your fairy toner has not been tested scientifically. You used some kind of herbal folk cure to develop it, so I will not produce and sell it. Cosmetic products are used on people's faces, so there must not be any problems. If there's anything in them that causes disfiguration, then it is a huge problem. The last thing I need is bad publicity or lawsuits." Mark sighed. "Nicole, why don't you believe me? There is no way that there would be a problem with the quality of my fairy toner." Nicole shook her head. "Mark, you don't know anything about business. It's not as simple as you think. Perhaps you really do want to help me, but I really don't need it." She shuffled some papers. "All right, I have a meeting soon. It's not appropriate for you to stay here. You should go home. If you have time, help Mom do the housework. You've been making her angry recently." Nicole directly chased away the guest. Mark was disappointed that Nicole still refused to believe in him. However, he did not say anything else. He nodded and turned to leave. Nicole looked at Mark's back as he walked out. She suddenly felt a little guilty. She thought to herself, "Is my attitude towards him too bad? After all, the reason why he made that fairy toner was to help me." Furthermore, Nicole had personally seen the fairy toner recipe when a customer came looking for trouble. This customer said that after using Nicole's cosmetics, there was a red rash on her face. Luckily, Mark came forward and used his secret cosmetics formula to bathe the customer's face. Only then did the rash disappear. The fairy toner also made the customer's skin even smoother and clearer than before. Could it be that Mark's cosmetic formula was really so magical? If so, then perhaps she should give it a try. Nicole was unable to make up her mind. After thinking about it, she picked up the phone and made a call to Anna. "Anna, I think we should give my husband's secret formula, his fairy toner, a try." On the other end of the phone, Anna said, "What? The few bottles of water your husband made? And what kind of fairy toner is it? I really don't think it's a big deal. Nicole, what kind of person is your husband? You know him better than me. What kind of cosmetics products he might make? Would you dare to use it? It has never been tested. If there's a problem..." Anna paused to let her words sink in. Then she said, "We can't afford to take the chance." Nicole's hopes were shattered in an instant. "All right then." Nicole hung up the phone and rubbed her temples. She said to herself, "Yes, I should know what kind of person Mark is. How could someone like him develop cosmetics? I was overthinking." At this moment, Nicole heard a commotion outside the office door. Nicole looked up and saw several employees pushing and shoving each other as they stood at the office door. Nicole said, "What are you doing?" The employees looked at each other and then walked in. "Nicole, I'm sorry," said one. "We just want to ask if there is any of fairy toner left." Nicole's brow immediately wrinkled. "What do you mean?" The employees waved their hands and said, "You remember you asked us to try out the fairy toner? Well, we did, and it is simply too magical. Look, our skin has become incomparably soft. It's even softer than a baby's skin. So we came over to ask if you have any more. We want to buy some." Only then did Nicole realize that the skin of these employees really had become super soft and clear, much better than before. Her brows knitted again and then asked, "Did your skin really become like this after using that fairy toner?" Yes, one of the employees enthused. Fairy toner is really magical. We only used it once or twice when we went home. My skin became incredibly soft. I even gave it to my mother to use. My mother is already over 50 years old. Not long after using this fairy toner, her skin also became really soft and clear. Then my mother gave fairy toner to a few ladies in the neighborhood. They also said that the effects are magical, so they asked me to ask if there's any more. Another employee chimed in. Yes, Nicole. I gave fairy toner to my sister to use. My sister also said it was very useful. It was better than any cosmetics on the market. And the effect was so fast, so my sister said that no matter how much it costs, she's willing to buy more fairy toner. Some of the others fought to be the first to speak. Nicole, sell us some more of that fairy toner. No matter how much money it is, we're willing to buy it. Nicole was surprised. When Mark sent over a few bottles of the cosmetic water and said that he wanted her to try it out, she did not take him seriously at all. She had felt that it was a pity to just throw it away, so she gave the few bottles of fairy toners to the company's employees. She did not expect that the effects of the fairy toner would be so good that now they were all fighting over it. At this moment, another employee ran into the office in a hurry and said to Nicole while gasping for breath, Nicole, it's not good. Nicole said, What's wrong? It's the guest who caused trouble the last time. It's the deputy mayor's wife. The employee panted. Nicole jumped up from her chair. What? She's here again? Nicole remembered the deputy mayor's wife, Mrs. Bovary, who had caused trouble last time. This woman was very difficult to deal with. Before, she insisted that she had used their company's cosmetics, and they had caused a rash to appear on her face, forcing her to claim compensation of $100 million or she would destroy the company. If it wasn't for Mark's intervention at the time, the matter would have been very difficult to resolve. Now that she heard that this very troublesome woman had come to her door again, Nicole immediately became nervous. Although she was a strong woman, her personality was actually quite sensitive. Towards a shrew like Mrs. Bovary, who was hard to deal with, she really had a hard time. The other employees were also surprised. Why is that Bovary woman here again? Don't tell me she's looking for more trouble, one said. Another piped up. Nicole, that woman is very difficult to deal with. Moreover, she is the wife of the deputy mayor. Why don't we call the police? Just as she said that, the sound of high heels tapping up the corridor rang out. 2 seconds later, a woman appeared at the office door. This woman was dressed in the latest fashion. She pushed the staff to the side and said loudly, Where's your boss? Nicole, I want to talk to you. Hearing this, the faces of the employees changed. Nicole also frowned deeply. It seemed that Mrs. Bovary was here to cause trouble again. But hadn't Mark's herbal water, his fairy toner, cleared her face right up? So why was she back again? What was she up to? And most importantly, what on earth was Nicole going to do about her? Mrs. Bovary elbowed her way through the employees gathered in Nicole's office doorway, squeezed into the office, and said to Nicole, Nicole, right? I finally found you. Nicole frowned and then said, Mrs. Bovary, I thought we settled your issue when you were here before. I don't know what more you expect, but... Before Nicole finished speaking, Mrs. Bovary interrupted her and said, Actually, I am not here to find you. I am looking for your husband. Looking for my husband? Nicole was a little confused. The other employees were also a little confused. Mrs. Bovary became excited. She suddenly clapped her hands and said, That husband of yours is really amazing. Last time he gave me some kind of herbal remedy to wash my face, and my skin improved immeasurably. That stuff is better than any cosmetics I have ever used. When I went home, my family and friends almost didn't recognize me. Seeing my skin suddenly become so good, they were all jealous. They all asked me what kind of secret formula I used to make my skin so incredible. I told them that I used herbs soaked in water. They didn't believe me, so I tried to replicate the method your husband used. I got some herbs, soaked them in water, and washed my face. But it didn't have the same effect. I think your husband added something else besides herbs. That's why I came to look for him. Where is he?" Mrs. Bovary tapped her foot impatiently. "One of my best friends is in the cosmetics business. She said that your husband definitely has a secret formula. She is willing to work with him and create a new cosmetics brand. Of course, I need to talk to your husband about this first, so please let him know I'm here." Nicole was a bit confused. Mrs. Bovary hadn't come to cause trouble, but to look for Mark? Nicole said, "He is not here." "Then where is he?" Mrs. Bovary asked. Nicole shook her head. "I'm not sure of that either. Maybe he is at home." "Then give me his phone number," Mrs. Bovary said. Nicole gave Mark's phone number to Mrs. Bovary. Mrs. Bovary couldn't wait to call Mark and borrowed Nicole's desk phone to make the call. When Mark picked up, Mrs. Bovary said loudly, "You are Nicole's husband, right? I am Mrs. Bovary. Do you remember me? I am the one who had a rash on my face last time." Yes. That is me." "Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to meet with you. Do you have time?" Mrs. Bovary nodded and smiled into the phone. "Well, actually, if you remember, you gave me some kind of herbal remedy to wash my face, and my skin became very good. I just want to ask you, other than those few herbs, what else did you use?" Mrs. Bovary paused and listened. "Eh? It is a secret, is it? A secret formula passed down through your family that you cannot tell outsiders. Okay. Yes, I understand. How about this? One of my friends is in the cosmetics business. She wants to work with you. If you're willing, she can buy your secret cosmetic formula at a high price." Mrs. Bovary paused again, and her smile began to fade. "What? You won't sell?" Well, if you don't want to sell your secret formula, then you can choose to cooperate with my friend to develop and sell cosmetics. She would create a brand and give you dividends." Hearing Mrs. Bovary talking to Mark, Nicole was somewhat dumbfounded. Mark's secret formula was really so amazing that even Mrs. Bovary, the deputy mayor's wife, couldn't wait to get it. And her friend was willing to either buy the formula or cooperate with Mark. She would give Mark dividends every year,